What's up guys, got a special treat for you today. Over the course of our videos, I've teased you pretty relentlessly about this one. You thought it was coming in the Jigglypuff video, you thought it was coming in the Marrow video, but here, we're finally talking about it. For once I'm not pulling your leg, the time has come for us to talk about probably the most important Pokemon ever, Pikachu. That's right, the little mouse finally gets its day in the sun on False Swipe Gaming, all due to a promotional tie-in, and because it's the only Gen 1 starter Pokemon we haven't covered yet, but yeah. Yep, we're releasing the competitive history of Pikachu and Smash video today as well, and considering that you don't have to be a fully evolved Pokemon to be a real contender in Smash, I'm guessing that Pikachu is gonna have a bit better track record over there. But hey, while you're here, why not see if Pikachu was good in its home game too? And as for why we're not also doing Raichu in this video, well, Pikachu actually plays kinda different from Raichu because it gets so much special treatment. And also, this is a tie-in for the Smash video, so yeah. Also, Ash's Pikachu beat Lieutenant Surge's Raichu, so maybe Pikachu is just better. Ever think of that? Yeah, this is for all of you still asking why we didn't cover Slowking with Slowbro. They both may be walls, but they're different types of walls, alright? Ash's Pikachu actually did a lot of nutty stuff throughout the years, beating Regice and Latios, somehow destroying an Onix with an electric attack with the help of sprinklers, and being the best Pokemon impressionist around. So maybe there's something special about it after all. I mean, really, do I really have to say anything about Pikachu? We all know who he is, although I do miss Season 1 Pikachu, who was a lot more savage back then. Yeah, remember that? So maybe there's something special about it after all. Let's find out. Yeah, you know what? I'm getting excited. Pikachu has to be amazing, right? How good was Pikachu actually? And in this video, we'll be covering these competitive formats. Alright, yeah, come on, you guys thought Pikachu was actually gonna be good? The thing's highest stat is 90 for God's sakes. After that, its attack is 55, and its special was only 50. Base 50. Spoiler alert, Pikachu is not overused. In fact, it's not even considered a fully evolved Pokemon. You know, that spot is actually filled by Raichu, and it most likely never will be overused. But because it's the series mascot and it does have quite a few interesting tricks up its sleeves, we'll talk about those. In Gen 1, at least Pikachu got to run around in Little Cup, where it was okay. Although electric types typically did poorly in Little Cup because Rhyhorn was everywhere, Pikachu actually had a tool to handle Rhyhorn. And no, I'm not talking about the BS of hitting the Rhyhorn on its horn or Rhydon or whatever. You know, that just doesn't make sense. Nope, its tool was a pink surfboard. With agility, it outsped the entire metagame, and then it didn't really do that much, to be honest. Its special stat was still really low, but it could spread paralysis and had pretty good coverage in a metagame where coverage was typically awful. There wasn't any breeding in Gen 1, so the movesets were atrociously bad. And as for overuse, don't even think about it. Unfortunately, without its special item in the next generation is gonna get, it actually had no special treatment in Gen 1. So yeah, just use Raichu. Even Pokemon Yellow, where Pikachu is on the cover of the frickin' box art, all they did was give it a move reshuffling. And the only important parts were that it learned Thunderbolt earlier and got Light Screen, which was pretty bad in Gen 1. Not looking good for Pikachu so far, but hey, at least it was still fat. I miss fat Pikachu. Gen 2 pushed Pikachu into the modern era. Banned from Little Cup with the addition of its pre-evolution in Pichu, it was suddenly forced into a harsh metagame, dwarfed by little dragons and dinosaurs. Under normal circumstances, this video would end here, as the only other things we would be able to say about Pikachu would be like, yeah, this thing's base stats are worse than Love-This. But Pikachu, lest we forget, is special, and that special nature allowed it to gain a very special item, Light Ball. Light Ball is enough to make any Pokemon that is not a tiny electric mouse absolutely bonkers broken tier. But in the hands of Pikachu, it was just enough to, I don't know, make it the second highest special attack in the game. In Gen 2, only Mewtwo could outdo Pikachu, whose special attack landed at a nifty 396. And how do you get this insane item? In Gold and Silver, you actually had to steal it from Red's Pikachu, or you trade over your Pikachu from Pokemon Yellow, which also stars Red, so either way you're stealing Red's Pikachu. Now that's ballsy. Walk up to the greatest trainer of all time and nab the only thing making his signature Pokemon powerful. Sure, its pitiful defenses got even more pitiful. It lost 10 points of special defense in the split, but Pikachu could certainly pump out some damage. Maybe enough to, say, bust up an Onix. Anyways, Pikachu actually had fairly decent coverage. With Surf, Thunderbolt, and HP Fire, it had at least neutral coverage on every fully evolved Pokemon. With Sing in its last slot and a decent speed stat, Pikachu could potentially go in as a lead, sleep something, and then blast away for huge damage on the switch. But if Sing missed, or if Pikachu really even thought about switching in, it was dead meat. A single stab attack usually spelled the end. Pikachu had to play a hit and run game, zapping opponents on the switch and then getting the hell out to dodge if it wasn't able to pick up the KO. Anything that could take a hit would beat it straight up, namely Exeggutor, Quagsire, and the ubiquitous Snorlax and Blissey. Ground types could potentially do okay, but with some Pika predictions, 2 Surfs would usually take them out. Pikachu's attacking power was no joke, it's just that its defenses sort of were. That put it down in underuse, but it still made its appearances from time to time. But who doesn't want to beat their opponent with the series mascot? Gen 3 gave Pikachu another signature specialty, Volt Tackle, which hit like a million volts and had the guaranteed accuracy Thunder did not. It did make some big differences. For example, Volt Tackle had a 75% chance to one-hit KO Suicune. The recoil though, Pikachu would take 135 points of damage, and thanks to its awful base HP, that was more than 60% of its health in recoil. That put Pikachu into a pretty precarious position, and the real kicker was that Surf and Volt Tackle were illegal together. Suffice to say, Pikachu stuck with Thunderbolt. Actually though, a lot of Pikachus use Encore instead of Surf. Pikachu actually did okay against certain mons with a lot of moves they didn't want to be locked into, like Curselax, but that's only if you manage to actually Encore, because otherwise you just get taken out. Blissey certainly didn't appreciate getting locked into Soft Boiled, even if producing eggs over and over again is an applause-worthy talent. Substitute gave Pikachu a little bit more trickery to try and stay safe too. It actually had to think about its coverage moves a lot. Pseudo Bolt Beam coverage with HP Ice was great, but without HP Grass, Pikachu lost straight up to Swampert, Lantern, and Quagsire. Speaking of counters, along with those strong contenders, Blissey and Snorlax still walled every set, only feared getting forced into repeated performances with Encore. Steelix beat non-Surf variants, and Dugtrio outsped, trapped, and demolished Pikachu if it came in on an electric move. So much hinged on the hidden power variant. Flygon, Celebi, and other grass types laughed at HP Grass, but if you use HP Ice, you left Pikachu open to the aforementioned electric immune water types. But really, the biggest counters to Pikachu were not any specific Pokemon. One is Nebulous. Good predictions just ends Pikachu, as if it ever gets a bad matchup, it's really screwed, and it still couldn't switch into anything. Yeah, so again, anything that could take his hits pretty much beat it with the next move. But the others are concrete, priority moves. Priority was on the rise in Gen 3, and a stray Mach Punch, Extreme Speed, Fake Out, or even Quick Attack would really ruin Pikachu's day. This is another reason that Volt Tackle recoil wasn't exactly preferred. So where did Pikachu end up? Pika never used, I'm afraid. Such a frail little mouse body left Pikachu so susceptible to attacks, even with its tremendous power. With the physical special split, Light Ball boosted both of Pikachu's attacking stats, but Volt Tackle fell to the wayside as the recoil was just too much. Surf also fell to the wayside as Pikachu was forced to double down on its safety measures to stay alive. Substitute was still all but mandatory, and Encore was a recommended measures as well, although some mice ran Focus Punch, which could even 2-hit KO that pesky Lantern even without investment and put dents in other special walls. Grass versus Ice was still the big debate for coverage, although Grass Knot replaced Hidden Power Grass. It could also run Nasty Plot to enact even more destruction, giving it a chance to sweep, but paper thin defenses meant anything faster than Pikachu ended it. And honestly, Pikachu's speed stat is okay, but nothing amazing. Again, Pikachu was in never used, for pretty much the same reasons as the gen before. Pikachu's new ability in Lightning Rod gave it one more layer of protection to help with its pathetic defenses, but it honestly wasn't enough of a change. Pikachu was stagnant in Gen 5, and it ended up fitting the same niche it always had, a never used Pokemon that was only used to style on people, and even then, it kind of failed from time to time. But in VGC, Pikachu was marginally more useful than it was in singles. Lightning Rod is actually a great ability in doubles, and Fake Out is another nice tool Pikachu had that's also good in doubles. To pull it off, it needed a team built around helping it outspeed and survive. That means Pokemon that could carry Tailwind, Icy Wind Span, Follow Me, Rage Powder, the whole 9 yards. Basically anything that let Pikachu go first, or anything that redirected attacks away from Pikachu. But even then, Pikachu being locked into Light Ball hurt it desperately, as it wasn't even guaranteed to live 2 turns because of a lack of Focus Sash, and spread moves like Earthquake negated bait attempts to keep it alive. It never saw any real play just like in singles, but at least in doubles there was the possibility of a herd of other Pokemon trying to keep it alive. And it also does a lot of damage, so yeah. And as for Gen 6, well, Pikachu did move to a new tier, down, into the PU tier, the absolute worst tier in the game. What have we come to where the mascot of Pokemon is in a tier that is literally a joke about smelling bad? And how can we go on? I honestly have no idea, and I don't really have very much to say anymore. Use Raichu, who's also in PU, unfortunately. But in VGC, Pikachu actually did see some tournament results. Pikachu made it all the way to top 4 in the Florida Regionals in a team made by Ashton Cox in VGC 2016. Keep in mind, this is a meta dominated by Pokemon who are normally in Ubers, like Groudon and Xerneas, but Ashton's Pikachu was actually a physical variant with Fake Out, Feint, Protect, and Volt Tackle, with the ability to nab a one-hit KO on Kyogre almost 100% of the time. Led with Fake Out and remove protection with Feint, Pikachu was quite a helpful little mouse, and one that could do damage. And still top 4 with Pikachu sounds absolutely absurd, but it happened. Amoonguss could potentially protect it, but Lightning Rod meant Pikachu could also sometimes do some protection of its own, by switching in on electric attacks and then absorbing them, thus keeping your partner safe from electric moves and powering your Pikachu up. So happy 20th anniversary indeed. Check out Ashton's interviews and battles with James Bake for more insight into Pikachu's utility. And then continuing the trend of Pikachu doing well in VGC, John Hugh took Pikachu all the way to top 8 at Collinsville Regionals with a more standard special attacking stat. Pikachu had a guaranteed one-hit KO on Garchomp and could potentially land knockouts on Mimikyu in electric terrain. Paired with Tapu Koko, it made for an absolutely terrifying force, able to exert huge pressure with Fake Out as a lead and then blast for massive damage. So maybe things are looking up for it after all. But now let's take a look back at our friend throughout the years, to whom we owe so much. It just goes to show if you really stick to it, you can do anything. How's that for Transformation Tuesday? So how good was Pikachu actually? Well, if we're being honest, he was pretty bad. But even with Light Ball, what do you really expect from a not fully evolved Pokemon? Like really, just because it's the Pokemon's mascot, it was gonna be good? To be fair, Game Freak has tossed Pikachu quite a few bones in the form of Volt Tackle, Light Ball, Surf, and exclusive Z moves like Picanium Z. But at the end of the day, its very, very poor defensive stats kept it from doing very much else aside from hitting something extremely hard before dying, or KOing itself with recoil. So yeah, Pikachu is basically a glass cannon, except it's made out of something a lot more fragile than glass. But you know where Pikachu might actually be good though? In Smash Bros. I wonder if any YouTubers have made a video about how good it might be in Smash. Oh gee, I wonder if they, yeah, please just go and watch my Smash video. Thanks so much for watching everyone. And as always, if you like the video and you want to see more, be sure to subscribe to False Swipe Gaming for more weekly Pokemon content. And of course, as I always say, comment on what Pokemon you want to see next. And also follow my crew on these social media platforms. And promotional content over. Thanks for watching everyone. Have a nice day.